This is Charlie Manx, the villain in AMC's new series NOS4A2. He's played by sometimes bald actor Zachary Quinto, and was designed by this guy, Oscar-winning FX artist Joel Harlow. Joel's work has been seen in tons of great movies like
all 5 of the Pirates of the Caribbean films, the first J.J. Abrams Star Trek, Lone Ranger, Logan, the new Hellboy, Black Panther.
I visited his workspace to learn how he brought Charlie Manx to life, and we looked at some of his other amazing creations. Yo, I'm the new Hellboy!
There you go. I was approached by production about doing a transformational age makeup on Zach Quinto, who I've worked with on several films, obviously both Star Trek films.
In NOS4A2, Charlie Manx is a supernatural creature who feeds off the souls of children, kidnapping them in a car called the Wraith, with the vanity plate NOS4A2, or NOS4A2. It's based on a novel of the same name by author Joe Hill, son of award-winning author Tabitha King and some guy named Steve.
And what you see here is a silicone head of Zach. Once the makeup is sculpted, once you have, let's just say we're talking about the 100-year-old, once the entire makeup is sculpted on a stone copy of Zach's head, then you decide where you're going to cut the makeup apart. Cut the neck off, we'll cut the chin and lower lip off, we'll cut the upper lip and nose off, cheeks, forehead, earlobes, and then when you're dealing with a 135-year-old, there's a back of the head because his hair at that point is so thin that you see through the hair to the scalp.
Creating a character from a popular book is no easy task. Luckily for Joel, he knew the author. They met in 1994 when both were working on the TV miniseries The Stand.
Well, fortunately, I am friends with Joe Hill. He's the go-to guy. I mean, he created Manx. One of his biggest notes to me was Manx's teeth, even when he's in his earlier stages, are still very sort of desiccated. It's like 1800s dental work.
How much when designing this, did Zach's actual character of his face play into making the character?
It played into his character right off the bat. And I never like to design a makeup independently of the actor or actress that is playing that character. It's always very collaborative. So there's a lot of restraint required when you're doing something like that, as opposed to doing a movie like Star Trek Beyond, where you're creating aliens that nobody's seen. Got a lot of leeway there. Hellboy, you got a lot of leeway there. It's not a character that you see at the store, unless you're shopping somewhere very unusual.
It'd be weird if you keep running into Hellboy in your normal life.
It's a lot of just dialing it in so it looks like a believable old age character, yet maintains the characteristics of, in this case, Zach. I would text Zach images of the designs, and get his sign off. So he was very involved, as most of the performers I deal with are in their look. You spend all this time in the studio sculpting something, sculpting a character, bring it to set, you apply it, but it's not until it starts to move as that character that it really comes to life for you. And I don't know if you know any 135-year-old people, but I don't. 135 does give you a little bit of leeway.
Yeah.
It's like you can push it a little bit there, but...
Yeah, he's like, prove they don't do this.
Whereas Joel had little to reference when designing Charlie Manx, he had the opposite challenge with another movie he recently worked on, Hellboy. I got to try on a few Hellboy accoutrements.
New Hellboy, let's reboot it again. I'm ready.
Let's go.
Getting into this stuff is harder than it looks.
Age 100 was about 3 to 3.5 hours to get them all ready. Yeah, I mean, it's long to get this done correctly, because it is an old age and it is a realistic makeup. It took what it took, and that was about 3 to 3.5. In NOS4A2, trying to do 4 stages of an age makeup that looks absolutely believable is very difficult. That's a challenge. That's a big challenge. You're trying to fool people in real life. And, once you do that, you're going to be able to fool them on film.